Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Path of some kind of video. I'm just having fun at this point because sometimes I read the comment section. I have to read the comment section because I can't get rid of the comments unless I read them, so I gotta read them. And you know, for the most part, I don't take it personally because I don't care. I don't know any of these people, but at the same time, some of the things I read just made me go, what? So in this video is mostly about it's not necessarily PoE related. It's more talking about how people get so ingrained in their own idea of how things are that they can't even have a conversation about something, and they just have to. They start from a place of just, this is what I'm thinking, and that's it, and that's all. That's the only conversation that we're gonna have. So you know, most of the comments. I want to say most of the comments. A good number of the comments that I've received have good points behind them, and you know, I've kind of put a couple of those. I've chosen 3 specific comments from my section that kind of outline the sort of 3 different kinds of viewpoints from people who dissent from my opinion and really, you know, just have a really strong emotional response to it. The first one is mostly just the kind of comment that I typically just put a dot on and ignore because it's not constructive. It's not really meant to have a conversation about anything. It's mostly just trying to make somebody feel bad, and I'm like, I don't even know you. How are you going to make me feel bad? But I read it, and on this specific one, I chose to respond to it specifically because it kind of highlights a point that a lot of people have been trying to make recently about people on the internet. And this person's clearly not going to understand that, because for them to write this kind of a comment means that they don't care. They don't care about anything other than trying to, you know, offend people. And that's fine. But the idea, the comment says, so you want them to ruin the game, and also the game is in early access, and we are missing half the content in the maps and in the campaigns. Okay, so the first part of the comment is just like, okay, whatever. The second half of it is technically true, but doesn't apply here because we don't have the second half of the game yet. And the review that I did that got the comment that spawned the second video was specifically on the content that we have available to us right now. So that's, you know, I just don't understand. I don't understand that thought process. So my response to them was basically, especially in the second half of their comment, it says this is an example of people just not hearing and understanding what the person is actually saying in the video. They didn't understand what I was saying. They didn't listen to me. They didn't hear what I said. They didn't internalize it into their brain, analyze it, and actually understand what it was that I was actually saying. They heard what they wanted to hear and responded to that instead of what I said. Because what I said in the video is that the campaign is the vast majority of all of the content in the game. And for me to say something like that is not asking the devs to ruin the game, because it was just a statement of fact. I didn't ask for anything to happen. I made a statement about how the game is right now, what it is. This is what it is. The game is the campaign, and then you go into maps, and it's a repeat of the campaign content, with the exception of they added some new bosses. There's there's a few new mechanics that they added to the end game part of it. But the vast majority of your time you're spending going back through maps and fighting monsters that you fought in the campaign. That's just a statement. It's a statement of fact. It's not open to interpretation. It's not open to your opinion. It just is what it is. And you don't get there is no arguing that. That's what it is. So I don't understand how that's me trying to ruin the game somehow, because it's just a statement of fact. Statements of fact can't ruin anything. It is a non-emotional description of what is. So I don't know. The first part of the comment just didn't make any sense to me, and the second part of the comment is just not addressing what the video is about. So, you know, it boggles my mind that people. It doesn't boggle my mind because I understand how it works. We all go into most of us go into conversations. Almost all of us go into conversations with a preconceived notion of what we think and how we think the conversation is going to go, and we have that conversation instead of having the conversation with the person, and almost everybody does it that way, and that's why we get the kind of comments that we get. The second, so that was this first thing here. It's just, you know, it's someone who's mostly just isn't interested in a conversation. They just want to be a troll, and that's mostly what it is. I typically respond with a dot to these, but the specific things that they said in the comment just made me want to say something about it so that anybody else who read that comment gets some kind of context out of that. Because, you know, one of the things that I've learned over the course of my life is you're never going to convince people to change their mind about anything unless they have a really good reason to. And especially you're not going to change people's mind in a video game. There's no reason. It's like something has to come into your life and drastically shift your point of view to get you to change your mind on anything. So I'm not trying to convince. When I argue about something or I discuss something, I'm not trying to change that person's mind. Their mind's already made up. It's not going to change. It's mostly about trying to get those people who are on the fence to maybe make a decision one way or the other and hopefully lean in the direction that makes sense to you. But for this specific comment, I mostly responded because this person has no idea what they're talking about. I made a statement of fact. It is a factual statement. It's not open to interpretation. I'm sorry, it's just not. Which leads me into this second thing here. It's kind of related. The whole philosophy of this game is that the campaign isn't the main content, and even GGG have said that the end game is the most important and expansive content. Your video is unfortunately wrong. You have an option about enjoying the campaign, but that doesn't make your opinion stated in this video correct. Sorry, mate. See, the problem with this statement is that you don't understand what a factual statement is. This is not my opinion. It is not me trying to emphasize one thing over another. The word opinion is something where you get to take your idea of what something is and apply how you feel about it, and then you make statements along those lines. A factual statement is a statement that you make about what is. This is what it is, and it's not open to interpretation. You don't get to apply. You can have an opinion about the factual statement, but you can't just say that the factual statement is wrong because you don't like the truth. Like, the truth about the game, especially as it exists right now with the content that we have right now, is that it's the campaign, and then you repeat the campaign, and then you repeat the campaign again in the maps. There's some bosses at the end. There's some ascendancy stuff that you also do during the campaign. And that's it. Like, there's nothing else. There is no arguing anything else other than that, because I'm making a factual statement. And that's the problem with the internet. Too many people think that facts aren't a real thing, but they are. There are factual statements that you can make because some things are just the way that they are, and you don't get to just decide that they're not because you think a different way. I can understand, somebody saying that they think that the end game is more important than the campaign. Okay. That's an opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion. But you don't get to say that there's more content in the end game, because there's just not. Content is the assets that they create to populate the game, and the mechanics that they use in the game to allow you to play it. Well, almost all of the assets are in the campaign, and then they're repeated in the end game. Most of the mechanics and the boss fights and things that you do are in the campaign, and then you repeat them in the end game. So content is content, and that's it. That's just it. You don't get to change the definition of what content is just because you think it should be something different. It doesn't work that way. Which leads me into my third thing here, which is it's like saying if you play Tetris one time, you've experienced 100% of the game. The reality is that is absolutely the way it is. If you ever played Tetris, there's pieces that fall, and you have to try to put them together, and you get as far as you can, and then that's it. That's the content of the game. There's pieces, you're trying to get the lines to disappear, and you just keep doing that over and over again until you either run out of it's going too fast and you can't keep up with it, or you get to the last level and you beat it. Just because you put more time into a game does not mean that there's more content in the game. Time does not equal content. That is not a thing. You can choose to play solitaire for thousands and thousands of hours, but it's still just 52 cards arranged in a very specific way, and that's the game. It just is what it is. That's not an opinion. It's a fact. It is a 100% fact. And anybody who wants to argue that is just not being sincere about their comment. You're just not. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't understand this mentality where people feel like they need to, try to defend something, especially when the person isn't even saying what they think they're saying, because you're walking into a video or a conversation or whatever it is that you're doing in your life, and you're just applying your own preconceived notion to what's going on, and then you want to try to have that conversation. And it's like, I don't know. And that's the thing. The thing we always have to remember whenever we're having these discussions or we're talking about this kind of thing is that, the kind of people who are going to take the time to sit there and write out some kind of a comment aren't really the kind of people who are worth your time anyways. As I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not upset. I mean, I may get animated about describing things, but that's because I like teaching things. I like teaching. I like instructing. I like explaining things and making things, clear for people who are open-minded about hearing things. And so I get a little animated. I get a little into the topic, things like that. I'm not mad. I don't care what any of these people say. I respond to their comment to clear it off my list of comments, and then I move on. But I just, if they're going to keep giving me comments like this, it gives me ideas for content to add to the channel. And, videos that kind of provoke people. I'm not necessarily trying to provoke people in a negative way. I'm mostly trying to provoke thought. This video is mostly intended to be a thought-provoking thing where, the genuine people who watch this video are going to be like, yeah, I think I got something out of that. And the people who are just trolls and leave these kind of comments are just going to leave another negative comment. And it just helps me out anyways, because, comments are comments, and they're, especially on YouTube, within reason, there is no such thing as a negative press. Interactions are interactions, views are views, watch time is watch time. So if I can convince the trolls to also just watch throughout the whole video, that just helps me. I'm all about it. So like I said, I know I'm not really trying to get into like drama videos or anything like that. This video is not necessarily about trying to be drama-centric or anything like that. It's mostly just I like to do thought-provoking stuff when I can, because I just don't get too much of an opportunity to do that. I'm trying to do another video series on my channel where I'm just kind of talking about thoughts and philosophies and things like that, because, I want to do more than just video game stuff. So this video is mostly just, it's not responding to their comments, because they don't care about my opinion any more than I care about their opinion. It's more just kind of, talking and discussing these kind of overarching concepts where people just don't understand the difference between what is a fact and what is an opinion. And there are differences between the two. And when somebody makes a factual statement, you don't get to argue it. You don't get to argue it. You can try. You're going to look stupid when you do that, but you don't get to argue factual statements because it's plainly evident what it is. And the factual statement about this game is that the campaign is the content. Almost all of it. There's some new stuff in the end, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more new stuff as more content gets rolled out. But again, it's still going to be mostly the campaign retreaded for the end of the game, so that because they're not going to go out and make an entirely brand new assets, brand new maps, brand new all kinds of stuff for the end of the game, because that's just a lot of extra work that they don't need to do. They're just going to take the maps that they have now. They're going to retread them for the end of the game, and then you're going to continue to grind through that until you have enough gear to go fight the bosses. And if you want to spend 1,000+ hours grinding out all of that stuff so that you can fight the bosses on their hardest settings and do all of this other stuff, that's fine. You're free to do that, and if that's your idea of fun, that's fine. Like, I'm not arguing that, and I never argued that. I never said that the in-game campaign grind is wrong or anything like that. All I said was, the campaign is the content. And if I want to make a 300-hour review on the content that I've experienced thus far, and I have experienced the vast majority of the content available in the game, I'm perfectly within my rights to do that. And for somebody to come along and try to tell me I haven't experienced the content yet is pretty ignorant. I'm just saying. So that's all I got to say. Hopefully this video made sense. I'm going to make content when an idea pops into my head, and this was an idea that popped in my head. It may do well, it may bomb really hard. I don't know. But at the very least, I know that the statements that I'm making are factually correct. It's not something that's open to interpretation. And the reality is that for all of human existence, the truth has angered people. That's why people lie, because when you tell the truth, it generally tends to upset people, it generally tends to make people mad, and then they want to have something to say about it. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell it how I see it. I will make sure that you know when I'm saying an opinion. I will make sure that when I'm stating a fact, that I'm stating a fact that I know to be correct. And if I make a mistake, I will correct myself. But in this case, it's not a mistake. It just is what it is. So anyways, enough rambling. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. I also have PayPal links, PayPal and Patreon links in the description if you'd like to support the work I'm doing here to help, you know, kind of propel this up into the full-time gig kind of thing. I have dreams that I'd like to do, and making money is the only real way to get there. I don't care about money, but you just got to make it. It is what it is. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to come back for future videos where we're going to continue doing the casual mapping series and all that cool stuff. And I'll see you